Hey friends, I'm Heidi with Heavenly Minded Home, and today I thought I would share with you something we've been going through here in our household, but detoxing our kids from just way too much screen time and what to expect. What happened to our kids when we said, you know what, enough's enough, screen time, we got to make some changes. So I'm going to share that all with you guys today, exactly what we saw from our kids and a little bit of encouragement for holding the reins and, taking back control over your kids and their screen time interactions. Hey guys, I pray you are all having a wonderful week. You guys know in our daily videos that we put out, yes, seriously, a video each and every day for y'all, praying that it can be just a wealth of resources that can encourage and equip you in all things homey. So homemaking, homeschooling, home discipleship, homesteading, everything homey, that's what we love talking about around here. So be sure when you guys subscribe to tap those little bell notifications so that way you get these videos when they come out every day. So many fun things going on this summer. I mean, with stuff with our homeschool stuff that's coming out, our co-op classes that we have, they've got like Minecraft Club this month and all kinds of fun stuff. So there's lots of great resources, and because we do host things that are online with an online co-op and all of our online studies, we're doing biblical womanhood this summer, right? We're doing a lot of these things which are amazing. Getting to share and use technology like this, like it's wonderful, but what do you do when the screen time is too much? Things are getting out of control. You're noticing that your kids are far too obsessed with tablets or video games or phones or whatever the case may be. I want to talk about what happened when we detoxed our kids. And if you guys want to know a little bit more about kind of how we structure family rules with a Christian value when it comes to screens and technology, if you want to know a little bit more about like the detailed how we detoxed our kids from screens, go ahead and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what things you would like to see answered or explained or shown, and we would be happy to share that with you guys. But today let's talk about the top 5 things that we noticed when we said, hey guys, these are out of whack. We've got to make some changes. Screen time is getting addressed. We are detoxing here. Now, I will preface this and say that we are not completely screen free. We use screens. I think that technology has a place as a tool and a resource, right? I love filming these videos for you guys each day. We host online Bible services. We do the co-op online. We do lots of things on here. Our family enjoys snuggling up and watching old movies together and playing different games and doing stuff. There's many ways to use technology, but for me it's that heart of that matter. We always have to get to the root of something to really figure it out. And so I think when we look at this and we go, are we using this as a tool and a resource, or are we not being very disciplined in our appetites and we are just consuming it and now we have an addictive problem? Okay, so we do use it, but we really noticed that our usage had gotten out of line, and it happens. In some seasons of life, it happens. I will be honest and say this all started when my husband got really sick. My husband, at the beginning of March, and we ended up in the ER, and then we ended up in all kinds of doctor's appointments. So we were gone doing all these doctor's appointments. The kids were playing more on stuff because we're out doing all of that. Then he was in the hospital and he was having surgery. And then the whole family got COVID and was literally sick on the couch for an entire month. So you know how it just like dominoes down, and the next thing you know, it's July and you're like, holy cow, we're off balance. We need to regain our sense of true north here in all of this. So for us, that's how it happened. It happens sometimes. Again, if you want to know more about exactly how we did it and everything, just let me know. I'm happy to share. But we went ahead and we said, okay, things are out of control. Things need to change. This is what's going to happen. We are making these changes. And my husband and I noticed very clearly 5 things that happened like that as soon as we made these decisions. They're pretty big. The first thing that happened, they were not happy, okay? I will be completely honest. I love my children. I think my children are amazing. I love our home. I love our family relationships. I love all of the things that we do to have a heavenly minded home. Even still, okay? Because screen time, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know, even mainstream media constantly publishing studies of how addictive screen time is. Side note, this is a great time to hold the mirror up and go, are you addicted to screen time? And maybe that's why they're kind of seeing that example, right? Side note there. We can talk about that more if you guys are interested. Again, let me know. But when you break that addiction, right? That cut of, I'm just consuming and I'm playing and I'm just so focused here on if it's a game or watching stuff or even reading. I mean, sometimes my daughter on her Kindle, I mean, I can lose her for ridiculous amounts of time. Reading's great, reading's fantastic, but again, it's always balance. When we took this away, our kids were not happy. Oh my gosh. So our kids that I'm talking about, they would be our girls. So we've got a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 12-and-a-half-year-old. Okay, these are the ages I'm talking about. Our oldest is 18 and he's doing fantastic, but we used to go through this with him. They were not pleased. The 5-year-old was losing her marbles. Every time we were turning around, she was sneaking into her dad's office to try to get a tablet back out, which is a huge no-no. Total big issue right there. Even the 10-year-old was getting super cranky. I mean, everybody was not happy because we took this thing that they were used to just feeding those receptors, right? And we said, hey, we're making changes. We're not doing it like that anymore. If you're expecting your kids to just go along with this and be like, you know what, Mom, that's a great idea. I'm on my screens too much. Let me go ahead and get off of them and detox myself. It'll be great. I know it's for my, better goodness of mind and body and spirit, right? You're probably not going to get that response from your kids. If you do get that response, that's fantastic. High five your kid for me because that's amazing. You're probably not going to get that. And so I think a lot of times parents see the studies, they see the things and they go, oh my gosh, you're right. Like my kid is on a screen way too much. Be it whatever season of life you're in, or you've just never been really disciplined about it. Maybe again, you're on a screen way too much. And so everything's just off balance. I think we all can look at the kind of facts of life there and be like, yeah, probably not the best idea. Probably not the best thing for them to do. There's fighting, there's arguing, there's bickering, there's, whatever. But I think when we go to implement this or even attempt to implement it, and we get that pushback, we get those negative attitudes and the fussing and the fighting and the bickering and all of the stuff, let's be honest, it's a lot easier to go find whatever, like it's not even worth it. But it is so worth it. So I think if we're just being honest, I think we love this idealistic image of what detoxing from screen time looks like, which we'll get to by the end of this. But just know that going into it, it's probably going to come with a lot of blowback, probably going to come with a lot of bickering, a lot of attitudes, a lot of sass. And you say, Holy Spirit, give me grace and peace in the right words because I'm going to go crazy, okay? For me, totally honest, yes, that happened. But let's continue on through the points. In complete transparency, my second thing here we noticed is that we had a strong battle for a couple days. For a couple days, it was the 5-year-old sneaking into her dad's office trying to get on a tablet, them grabbing something because I'm occupied, and so they just went and sat down and turned on the TV or like did something that was not in our like, hey, here's what we're doing. They would ask me and then go secretly ask their dad and be like, hey, can we have some? It's like kids know this when you're busy and you're occupied and they ask you and you're like, yeah, okay, hold on, whatever. And then you're like, wait a second, why are you on that? And they're like, well, I asked you. Tricky kids. So we definitely had some strong battles for a couple of days. We had all of the, I'm so bored, I have nothing to do. And then I would start listing things off. What about your room full of toys? What about going outside? What about playing with the puppies? What about cooking something? What about drawing? What about reading a book? Right, you start listing off all these things. What about I give you some chores to do if clearly you're that bored? No, no, no. I'm telling you, we had children literally just laying on the couch, like in the most dramatic of manners, like, I'm just like resigned to this here because I can't do anything. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You have so many things you could go do with your time, but no, I'm gonna sit here and essentially pout. That happened Totally happened in my house. Again, maybe your kids are amazing and they don't do that. My kids did. Okay, it happens. We had a couple of days where it would have been so much easier to just say, forget it. It's hot outside, sure, play video games. There's this thunderstorm, sure, just sit on your tablet for hours. It's really humid, okay, you're right, let's just watch TV for hours. There could have been so many reasons and excuses, and it would have been so much easier to just say, all right, you're right, there you go. Definitely could have. But just you wait. The third thing that we noticed, and I'm telling you, this is about like day 3. It was like we woke up and like the peace of the Lord had descended throughout our house after a couple days of their attitudes drastically improved. I noticed siblings that have been having a lot of sibling issues were playing and laughing and having a great time. I noticed kids weren't even counting down to like the couple of approved times that we had set for like some sort of online computer video game something or other. Like that time passed by and they're like, oh yeah, it's our time that we could play, right? Like, I mean, they were like, oh, well, we're still drawing. Well, can we finish up? And I'm like, of course you can finish up what you're doing before you get on that. Sounds great. All of a sudden we had more helpful, sure, hey, I can help you with that. Or, hey, Mom, do you mind if I bake some cookies? We had all these like different little sweet things. And I'm like, oh, I love this change of attitude that we have going on in the home. And it was literally all of them. All of a sudden it was like just this wonderful peace that swept through the home, and attitudes were better. Willingness to be helpful and serve and be encouraging, sibling relationships, like all of these wonderful things that are so important that we really do work on and pay attention to, drastically improved. It was pretty fantastic. The fourth thing that just happened was they started self-seeking out the better options. Now again, when they would come to me in the first couple days, I'm so bored, I have nothing to do, what do I do now? But there's a thunderstorm, we can't play outside, so can't we do this? And I'm like, no, you can go play with your toys, you can read a book, you can draw, you can clean, you can do all kinds of things. All of a sudden, without me saying a word, they were like, hey, we're gonna go down to the barn and snuggle baby chicks. We have a rooster and they love snuggling him because they really work hard to have nice roosters, and anybody who has dealt with roosters, that that's not an easy thing to obtain. So they're like, hey, we're gonna go down and we're gonna work with them. We just got these great Pyrenees puppies that we're still having to teach the boundary lines of our homestead before we can just let them run wild. Hey, we're gonna go do that. We're gonna go outside and play. We're gonna go do this. We're gonna sit down and draw. We're pulling out our clay and building stuff. I just start thinking of all these wonderful things, and I'm like, oh, what a wonderful idea. We're going to go outside and build a little fort. We're going to go clean the pool and fill it back up. All of a sudden, all these ideas of their own doing, they just started popping up. And next thing you knew, they had these nice, beautiful full days of lots of little things that little girls like to go and do with no attitude, no fighting, no bickering, and they were doing everything together. We really focus on sibling relationships. If you guys missed my video about having strong family relationships, it was a couple days ago, so you can go back and see what, all the other ones that we talked about, because we really do focus on that, and I think that is so incredibly important. But to see that they just started seeking out the better in their days was so beautiful. I'm loving it, and then totally kicking myself for not doing this sooner and letting things get out of control, but thankful for the Lord's grace, we'll get there. I love seeing them all on their own, right? I might help and support and do a couple things, but they started seeking out the better because we gave them the room to do so, and it was wonderful. And the fifth thing that we really noticed is, since doing all of this, since detoxing, setting new parameters, right, doing all of the things that we did, they're now using the screens, the computer, the phone, the laptop, the tablet, the video game, the whatever it is that you have. They're using that as a tool again, and not just this addiction that they're feeding and they have to keep consuming. And that's what I think is so amazing. I understand there's many great reasons for going completely screen-free, and especially in some seasons of life with some situations, it can be the best course of action. But I think to kind of balance that, the reality is we live in a technology-driven world, and they're going to have to know how to be self-disciplined enough to deal with technology throughout the rest of their lives. And so I'd much rather give them a safe and encouraging environment here at home that's a little more lovingly corrective when it comes to learning for yourself how to be self-disciplined with technology, how to have that balance of using it as a great tool and resource and thing for many different aspects of life without being just like chained to it and addicted to it. And so giving them these ways that they're almost like exercises, right? To start learning how to balance this. I see them now being like, oh, hey, I need to do this for co-op. We're hosting Minecraft Club. The kids are having an amazing time. It is so cool. And they've got these great activities. We have all these different co-op classes in a faith-focused environment. We've got a book club this month that's really fun. We have Spanish classes, art club, right? All these different things. Check out a link down there if you want to check them out. You're always welcome to come join. But now they're able to be like, hey, I'm getting on for my hour and doing Minecraft Club with my friends, and they're learning and they're doing activities and they're building stuff and working together and doing all of that. And then when the time was done, got their fill, did their thing. All right, we're gonna go outside and play with the chickens or chase the turkeys or whatever they were gonna go do. And so it was so cool to see that, where it's like, this is what I'm talking about. It's a tool, it's a resource, and it's wonderful as a tool and a resource. But see what happens when we get out of line, when we are not self-disciplined, when we don't take that seriously. And look how our attitudes, even sometimes they're talking, oh, my back hurts. And I'm like, yeah, because you're sitting over a screen. Like, I mean, it just, you don't want to be like that. That's not good for your body. And so we're sleeping better. We're just enjoying our days a lot more. You start seeing all of these positives come pouring in, all from getting a detox through our systems when it comes to our screens, and then going about it in just a better manner, right? Choose the better, right? And so seeing that has been so wonderful, and I'm so proud of them. They're doing a great job. So that for us, that was the just biggest, most in our face, top 5 things that we saw when we detoxed our kids from screens, when we really worked through what they were spending their time on, why they were consuming it so much, and just all of the pieces that go in with that. So again, if you guys would like to know how exactly we did it, kind of as a Christian family with a real big emphasis on biblical worldview, how are we dealing with and kind of setting up our home with relation to outside influence and screens and how we do all of that. Maybe you're just struggling because you're like, you're right, like I'm always glued to my phone, you know, my kid only sees me through the glow of the screen. Leave me a comment down below. I would love to share more on those topics with you guys. If that's something that can be something that would encourage and equip you as you go through these very important, very real life topics in life, and how best do we serve the Lord in all aspects of our lives. So let me know down below. Otherwise, praying that this can be an encouragement to you to maybe go back and assess, you know, what's going on with your kiddos. Are you dealing with some attitude issues? Are you just constantly battling the screens? Your kids are always behind something. It's very, very important that we take this to heart, we take it to prayer, and then we start making these positive changes that are going to be huge impacts upon our children and our family as a whole. So hopefully this can be an encouragement for you guys today. I'm gonna get out of here, but if you want a little something else to watch that I think you're gonna love, you might wanna check out this video right up here. Otherwise, subscribe before you head out, turn on those little bell notifications, and we will see you right back here tomorrow. Bye, friends.